I had a lot of requests to talk about Pixels back when it first came out, and I had no real interest in seeing it in theaters. However, now that it's out on home video, I decided to check it out. So, Pixels. Is it a good movie? No. Is it the worst movie of the year? Hell no. I didn't hate it. I'll admit there were a few moments that I chuckled at, but overall it's another one of those post-funny Adam Sandler movies. It seems that he went through the same thing that Eddie Murphy went through, where they decided all of a sudden they were going to start doing family movies, and for the most part, their family-friendly movies are nowhere near as good as their old stuff. This is also another movie where Adam Sandler basically plays Adam Sandler. But about the movie itself, the trailer pretty much gives you the gist. Essentially, they send a probe into space with a bunch of info about Earth, and one of the things that they include is some old video games. Some aliens find this, and they decide that we've declared war on them, and they've decided that they're going to battle it out in the style of these old arcade games. It's kind of a stretch, but I guess that's what you get. The whole thing is based off of a YouTube video from 5 years ago, also called Pixels, where that's kind of what it was. A bunch of aliens come down, and they look like old school video game sprites, and they start dismantling Earth and turning everything else into pixels. The movie actually started off with some promise. It was young Adam Sandler and young Kevin James going to the local arcade and playing a lot of these old video games. And Adam Sandler is so good, he gets into this video game showdown that is a little reminiscent of The Wizard. I was enjoying that part of the movie, and then when they moved to current times, it kind of got dumber. The worst thing was Josh Gad. He absolutely ruined any possibility of the movie being entertaining because his character was just the most grating, irritating, infuriatingly annoying character. And I realized that that's what his character was supposed to be, but it doesn't mean that I have to like him. Everything that he said was just nails on a chalkboard. There was a part towards the end where he loses something and he's just... And oh man, I really just wanted to remove him from the movie completely because, as I said, the movie's not particularly good. However, if he would have not existed in the movie at all, it would have definitely bumped it up a few points. He was a large part of what made me not like the movie. The other thing that was kind of annoying was that for a movie that was so steeped in video game culture, they did things that didn't make sense. For example, cheat codes in games like Pac-Man and Donkey Kong. And unless they're privy to some secret that I have no idea exists, there are no cheat codes in those old video games. Another thing, this was just a little nitpick. They got Q*bert as a trophy, and so Q*bert is staying with the humans. Q*bert, the character, he never said anything. The only thing he said was curses. It was always asterisk, apostrophe, question mark, lightning bolt, and it was a little... In this, he was talking, and I thought that was odd. It just was like, why is Q*bert talking? I mean, there's any number of other video game characters that they could have had that would have talked and it wouldn't have made that big of a deal, but for some reason they picked Q*bert, and for some reason they made him talk. Then towards the end, Q*bert transforms into something, and then at least Adam Sandler called it out. I will give that some credit. I laughed a little bit at that, but still it was like, that's really weird. The good in the movie, I like the soundtrack, but Adam Sandler's always had a knack for good 80s soundtracks. So this was cool. It was all your old favorite hits from back in the day. I did think that the visual effects were impressive. I liked the way that they were shooting the buildings and they were turning into pixels. They definitely got their money's worth on the visuals. But just the predictable nature of the film, the humor that wasn't really all that funny, and the insufferable Josh Gad made this a movie that was just straight up middle of the road. If you think you're going to hate this movie, you probably will, so I wouldn't bother watching it. However, for it being the worst movie of the year, not even close. It's not even Adam Sandler's worst movie. And that is still, by far, Jack and Jill. If you watch Jack and Jill, it'll make Pixels seem like an Oscar winner.